Today on Daybreak, the Early Childhood Assistance Program has updates regarding its funding. We learn more about these changes and the lasting impact they may have. Two physiotherapists join us to discuss the importance of strength training as we age, plus simple movements you can do at home. And one man is providing scholarships to Caymanians looking to pursue a career in finance. We learn more about who Michael Austin is and the legacy he aims to leave behind.
Live from Compass TV in the Cayman Islands, you're watching Daybreak with your hosts, Toby Brennan, Mina Worms, and Reagan Ruddy.
Good morning, Daybreak. Wait.
Good morning, Cayman.
Good morning,
You're watching Daybreak.
And welcome to Daybreak. That is such a Wednesday thing.
I was going to say we have hit the hump of the week, but on a lighter note, we have also hit. Today is International Bee Day. I do love bees. I don't know how much you guys like honey.
First of all,
I love honey.
I went to our local bee thing to
That's right.
to
You
scoop
did the-
out the actual honey
you did
myself.
the beekeeping.
You had the privilege of doing that, so we just wanted to bring a little bit of buzz to your living room this morning to let you know, see what I did there. But seriously, bees do so much for our ecosystem, and I feel like a lot of people think that they are pests and they feel like they need to get rid of them.
I love
but
bees.
yeah, especially bumblebees as well. I don't know if we're fortunate to have those cute fluffy ones here, but all the bees we have in Cayman, respect our bees because they help sustain our environment, our food supply. So
Pollinating, you can plant flowers and trees and
do so
nectar
much.
plants in your garden to support them. Oh, did you know the whole one-to-one solution? Like if you see bees that are a little bit tired, you do one-to-one sugar water, and you can kind of put it out in little trays, and they'll go and have a little sip. And
I have heard of
give
this.
them a little bit energy.
Okay,
so cute.
I love it. I can't promise that I'm not going to do a duck and a dive when a bee comes around my head, but I do not kill bees anymore now that I have learned how important they are to our ecosystem. And that is what growing up is, kids.
yeah, 100%. That is so true.
Okay, but on another kind of fun note, I wanted to share that today is National Streaming Day, which is a perfect reminder to our audience that they can stream Daybreak. Sorry, I had to plug it. Or any of your Compass shows, anytime, anywhere. You can just head over to compasstv.ky and stream any of this local content on your schedule. Now, if you miss any of our shows or the latest news, you can find those updates as well as after the show on YouTube. So you can see the information on your screen for where you can find your favorite shows and interviews at a time that's convenient to you.
Go to Compass Media Official on YouTube.
I'm so grateful for streaming, and I know a lot of people, my dad especially, loves technology, and he's so grateful he's able to go back and watch these things and don't have to do the typical, recordings. Remember that, going back and watching?
I do remember, what was that called?
It depends if you had like TiVo.
Are you talking
or
about
Dish or something
DVR?
like that.
DVR.
You're like, what's that called? I'm like, remember VHS tapes?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vanessa.
I'm an older person.
I do remember those, so I was there.
Old but gold, old but gold. But we have to remember, I just wanted to bring up, Reagan is not here today, but she will be with us tomorrow, usual weather girl, but we are still going to have your weather update for you shortly. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I mean, thank you, Mina, for giving me that perfect toss. Here's a look at your weather. Good morning, Cayman, and welcome to the first look at your weather this morning. We are waking up to generally warm and partially cloudy conditions across the islands this morning. There's still some lingering moisture across the Northwest Caribbean, keeping the chance of a few passing showers in the forecast. Conditions remain fairly quiet overall, with light to gentle winds across Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. Now, if we look at the expected forecast for Grand Cayman, partially cloudy skies with cloudy spells throughout the day and a 30% chance of showers, along with the possibility of isolated thunder. Temperatures will climb into the low 80s this afternoon, but it will feel even hotter with a heat index of near 104 degrees. So if you're spending time outdoors, make sure to stay hydrated. Winds will be from the east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots before becoming lighter later in the day. Now, if you have any weather-related pictures or videos, email them to weather@compassmedia.ky. I'll have more weather for you later in the show, but first, your news headlines.
With your news headlines, I'm Mina Worms.
Today, the NCFC government marks 1 year in office with what it calls a strong start and a clear path forward. The National Coalition for Caymanians released its Meaningful Momentum report, highlighting key achievements from immigration reform and increasing minimum wage to launching the digital ID card and expanding early childhood education funding. The 49-page report breaks down accomplishments by ministry, outlining upcoming projects and items in progress. According to a government press release, priorities moving forward include road infrastructure, waste management, and improving career pathways for Caymanians. Tune into Compass Evening News tonight at 5 as Minister Nicholas Da Costa joins us for a live Q&A on the government's first year. The government's first year report includes an update, however, also on a long-awaited sports facility. The Cayman Islands Aquatics Association has been working towards a 50-meter pool for decades. According to the Meaningful Momentum report, the Cayman Islands Aquatic Center is in progress with pool installation slated for next August. Government advanced the project during a recent cabinet meeting with the official request to lease Crown land to the non-profit Swim Association. SIASA President Steve Broadbelt says this is an important next step.
The Aquatic Center and the peppercorn lease associated with that was supposed to be going to cabinet. It's the Aquatic Center is it's not what's formerly known as a public-private partnership, because it's 50% SIASA, 50% government. So this new entity has to take out a lease from the Crown, and it's half government, half SIASA. So this kind of structure is the first time it's been done. So we've had to be patient and just work through it diligently.
Defining beauty on your own terms, that's the theme of the Breast Cancer Society's Beyond the Scar fashion show.
Everything that the Breast Cancer Foundation does, we offer for free. So every event is a fundraiser, but this is actually much more than a fundraiser. This is showing everybody here in Cayman and the rest of the world that there is life beyond a diagnosis of breast cancer.
Fashion, storytelling, and community came together to spotlight breast cancer warriors as they walked a runway at Hotel Indigo. One of the highlights was keynote speaker Christine Handy, who shared her personal story of survival and how she hopes to help others.
You have people that show up in your life and show courage. We can borrow that courage from them until we can get our own courage back. So I had a mountain of women show up for me and tell me that when I was done with my treatment and I was set off and healthy, that I would have an opportunity to serve other people, and I took that very seriously. We all have stories of pain. We all go through trauma, but it's how we use our pain to help others. We can hoard it and keep it to ourselves, but if we share it, we can show hope for other people.
More than 250 people supported the event to raise awareness and funds for the Breast Cancer Foundation. This morning, Cayman mourns the loss of a longtime public servant. Former Chief Secretary James Ryan has passed away. Ryan, a son of Cayman Brac, spent nearly 4 decades in government. In 1994, he became Chief Secretary, now the role of Deputy Governor, and served in that post until his retirement in 2004. He is credited with helping modernize the civil service during a time of significant change. Tributes from the governor, premier, and acting deputy governor highlight the lasting impact of his years of service. According to a government release, details on his funeral arrangements will be announced at a later date. Today, flags on government buildings will be flown at half-mast in his honor.
Mother's Day lasts one day, but at Studio 54 Savannah, we're celebrating ladies all month long. Treat yourself to a little luxury with 25% off massages, manicures, pedicures, facials, and hair services throughout May. Relax, refresh, and feel your best at Studio 54 Savannah Branch, located at Country Corner, Savannah. Appointments are filling fast, so call 746-4247 today to book your pampering session. Gift certificates are available. Studio 54, because every woman deserves to be celebrated.
Camana Bay was founded on a simple idea that a thoughtfully designed community can enrich lives. 55 Sarasee Way is Cayman's first truly integrated health and wellness center. Located in the 7 Mile Corridor, steps from the Camana Bay Town Center, the 110,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility allows medical and allied healthcare providers the opportunity to curate innovative premises for the modern customer. To register your interest, visit 55saraceway.ky.
Some of the most advanced AI tool set.
500,000 web pages to one of the largest websites in the region. And with AI, you'll be able to search every article the same as if it was released today, put up online on CaymanCompass.com.
Anyone, anywhere across the world can actually access all of our archives and all of our issues of newspapers going back to 1965.
It's huge. It really is huge.
Today, you're the life of the party, but tomorrow, a critical illness could have you fighting for your life. Make sure you're prepared with critical illness insurance from Sagicor.
May is Child Month, and the Ministry of Education and Training has announced updates to the Early Childhood Assistant Program. Here to tell us more are Jarbara Bodden from the Early Childhood Assistance Program and Dolores Thompson from the Cayman Islands Early Childhood Association. Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I'd like to, before we actually get into the program itself, let's talk about early childhood education. When we're talking about this particular area, we're talking preschool, 3 to 4 year olds, is that?
Actually, early years goes all the way up to age 8.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is considered early years. And it's so important. I mean, research has shown us, I mean, this is an exciting time, I always say, to be an early years educator, because there's so much research now backing the fact that this is such an important time in development, brain development for children. The experiences that they have at this age impact their lives, their whole lives, right? And so research shows that if they have high quality early childhood care and education, that they're more likely to go to university, they're more likely to to have high paying jobs, stay out of the social service system, and it just really impacts their whole life. So it's really important that as a community and as a society that we invest in our early years. Very important.
What's the earliest age, ideally, that you have a child in kind of a more structured learning environment?
More structured, I would say probably from 3 and up. I mean, our preschool, we take them at 3 months. Obviously, we have a nursery. We know that parents have to get back to work, okay? And so obviously there is structure there, but that whole learning process, 2 plus 3, is where you really start that structured program.
Now, the Early Childhood Assistance Program has been around for a very long time. This year, government has doubled the amount they've allocated to it. Jarbara, how is that impacting families and children?
It's providing more funding for them. The costs of the monthly fees for centers are obviously increasing. So at this point, from April 1st, the minister increased the funding for early childhood from basic from $541 to $625, and supplementary went from went from 812 to 937. So it provides the families more funding towards that monthly fee, which ranges from $600 to over $1,700 a month.
This is an important, significant change, because I don't think that amount has changed since my kids were little, to be honest. I think
so we did have an increase about 2 years ago,
Okay.
but prior to that it had been at $450, $500 for quite a while.
So let's help our audience understand what this program is, because we know government schools, we can get our kids in government schools from around the age 4 or 5, right? That kind of year 1 kindergarten years. So because families have to go to private institutions for these kind of preschool, pre-K years, this is a government subsidy to help Caymanian families make sure that they have access to that for their kids.
Yes, yes. So it's for 3-year-old Caymanian children. It's for the year prior to reception. So all government schools have a reception program for the 4-year-olds. So this is for the year prior to the 3-year-olds. We do have some exceptions where some children that are younger than that apply through extenuating circumstances and can receive the funding a little bit earlier. But that's what it's for.
What are the requirements? How do you qualify for this?
So they have to be Caymanian. The child has to be 3, so we look at the age, and it's means tested as well. So the parent's income, the total household income for the family is looked at as well.
Okay, we have some information there on our screen, and actually that QR code, if you're watching, you can scan that and go to the application and get more information. What's the deadline to get these applications in?
So we have until March 31st, 2027.
Okay.
So because we know that things change throughout the year, people may lose a job or things may change that they want to apply for. So it's open until March 31st.
When families go to complete this form, what things do they need to, what information should they have handy?
So they should have a copy of their child's birth certificate. They should have the acknowledgement letter acknowledging their child's right to be Caymanian, or the new national ID for their child, which would also state that their child is Caymanian. They would need to have their income information. They would need to have a government ID as well for the parent. And then depending if they're applying either under extenuating circumstance, or we also have another new category for for families with a 3-year-old Caymanian child that may be above the income threshold. It's called financial hardship. So then they would need additional information in regards to their expenses that are going out. And we look at an expense income ratio of 90% or above.
Okay, and can this all be completed online?
It's all online, yes.
Okay.
I know some people still want the paper copies, but everything is online. So it's an online application so that it can be accessed at any time. We also provide help. So if anyone is struggling with the online application and prefers the paper copy, they can reach out to us. We also have help sessions throughout the districts where they can come in, and we'll support them through the application process. And this year we also have a new category that's the designated third party. So if there is someone who's unable to complete the application themselves, a trusted person that they trust can complete it for them. Okay. And they would obviously have access to those documents, and the parent would just have to sign a paper copy of a declaration form. But that allows persons who may be incarcerated or not able to access a computer to still get the funding for their children.
Can get that assistance. How can people find out about the sessions within the districts?
So they are advertised on our social media, so that's probably the easiest way. If they start an application, they're also listed there on that form. And we have one tonight in Boddentown at the Theoloine L. McCoy Primary School from 3:15 to 5:30, and we have one on Monday evening at Joanna Clark. That one is 5:30 to 7:30, and then we have various ones in June that will also be advertised on social media.
People can keep an eye on your social media. Yes. Dolores, I also want to mention last week was actually, we said May is Child Month. Last week was Week of the Young Child. Yes. Can you tell us about some of the activities and some of the kind of key moments from that last week?
Yeah, we had an exciting week. We started off with a parade. So we paraded from Bayshore Mall to the steps of the Government Admin building. And we were really honored and pleased to have the Minister of Education, Honorable Ralston Anglin, join us, along with the representative, the elected member from Georgetown West, Perlina McGraw-Lumpston. So that really showed government support of early years, and we really appreciate that support. And so we had a big parade. We stopped at the Gap Steps. The minister spoke to us. We had a really good time. Very good turnout, as you can see there on the screen. It was a huge turnout. I think it was one of the largest turnouts we've had. And so that was a really exciting thing. And then throughout the week then, we had activities happening. Each day had a theme, and the themes were given to the early year centers, and they would just expand on that and make it their own. And then Sunday there was an extravaganza. But the important thing about the Week of the Young Child is it's a time for us to educate people about the importance of early years. It's a time, and as we educate people, there's some responsibility that comes with that. And so we want people to know that it's everybody's responsibility. We all have a role to play in supporting families and children. And it's also a time for us to support families, to say to families, we see you, we're here for you. It's a time for us to advocate for early years educators and really advocate that they receive fair wages for the very important job that they do. And then it's a time to just celebrate children and have fun with them and do exciting things and learning through play. So it's a really exciting week. It really is.
Well, ladies, thank you both so much for joining us this morning. When you talk about wages for these key people who help us educate our children, that's a whole other topic.
It is.
But hopefully we'll get to that another day. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with more Daybreak after this.
Right on the waterfront in the heart of Georgetown, there's a spot everyone's talking about. Welcome to Waffle Monkey, where island vibes meet handcrafted Belgian waffles. Sweet, savory, crispy, loaded, every bite is made fresh and full of flavor. From chicken and waffles to chocoholic creations, artisan coffee, milkshakes, and brunch favorites, this is your go-to breakfast, brunch, and chill spot in Cayman. Relax by the ocean, soak in the atmosphere, and taste the hype. Waffle Monkey, good vibes, great coffee, unforgettable waffles.
This year marks an extraordinary milestone for Caribbean Utilities Company, our 60th anniversary. Since 1966, CUC has had the privilege of serving the Cayman Islands. As we reflect on our past and look towards the future, this milestone also presents an important opportunity to ensure that our brand evolves alongside the company we have become.
This brand refresh is not about reinventing who we are. It's about modernizing and strengthening the identity of CUC in a way that reflects our heritage, our values, and our vision for the future.
Because our mission remains the same as it has always been, to power the homes, businesses, and the possibilities of the Cayman Islands.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Many people think slowing down is just a normal part of aging, but there are ways to help maintain strength and mobility as we get older. Joining me for Wellness Wednesday is two physiotherapists, Thomas Corbett and Michael Shaw, to explain what happens to the body as we age and why strength training can make such a difference. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, good morning.
Morning.
I'm really excited to have this topic because I feel like I keep telling my mom how important strength training is. So to sort of jump in, Thomas, I'll start with you. What is happening to our body, our bones as we age?
Quite a lot is happening to our body as we age. I think the big things are that we're naturally losing muscle mass. That happens to everyone, and it happens at different percentages in different periods of our life. So it starts when we're in our 30s and then continues through a relatively steady rate into our 60s and then accelerates after that. We're also losing bone density, and we see changes in people's balance and changes in the stiffness of their joints as well. Overall, this kind of affects how mobile someone is and how independent they are and how easily they can do the things they enjoy doing.
Okay, you absolutely got ahead of me on that because I was about to ask why we need to pay attention to this, but that's such a good point. It's about keeping with the lifestyle that you want to live, right?
Yeah, it's about enjoying life.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I'd like to enjoy life. Now, Michael, I'm gonna move to you. What are some of the biggest benefits when it comes to keeping up with strength training as we get older?
I mean, it significantly reduces our risk of falls and breaking bones. It maintains our bone density and our muscle mass. At the end of the day, we now know things like the people who have falls later in life, break a hip, something like that, they've got quite a high risk, 20% of dying within a year of breaking a hip. So reducing risk of falls is pretty high, but quality of life, that's a big part, right? We want to remain mobile, remain active so we can be sociable, enjoy life, get the most out of it whilst we're able to, and extend the amount of healthy years that we have in our life overall.
Okay, so I mean, again, we are talking a little about strength training, but movement is overall the most important. Is that something you would agree with?
Yeah, and certainly that movement aligns with strength very much so. We know that people who are stronger are going to have better range of motion, they're going to be able to do more in life and stop that kind of decline of capability.
Okay.
But it's broader than that though, isn't it? Like when you move, you reduce your overall health risk. So you're lower risk of having cardiac problems, neurological issues, cardiac health improves the risk of kind of cancer in the future as well, and overall people's well-being is better. Like their impact on their mental health from moving is huge.
Risk of diabetes reduces, having more muscle mass. And you say cognitive function is a big one as well that we minimize or don't talk about enough when it comes to exercise as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay, now when we think about, and Thomas, I'll direct this to you, safe ways that maybe adults who previously weren't focusing on this movement or strength training, what are some safe ways that they can sort of get started in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd first start with like, do movement that you enjoy. Do things that brings you joy. And doing movement with people who you value in your life as well. It hugely improves the likelihood you're going to continue to do that. And safe ways to move are like really simple. Sometimes it can just be standing up and sitting down repeatedly, or walking up and down the stairs, or taking that slightly healthier choice. We instinctively know what is good for us oftentimes. But when you're older, because your balance starts being affected, it's also important to integrate some things like balance work where you're standing on one leg. Sometimes that's just brushing your teeth standing on one leg. But other times it's also the strength work we're talking about is just light weights. I think the thing there is that we often undershoot what we need. We usually need to lift slightly heavier. Having a bit of guidance there sometimes is really useful, but it's not absolutely essential. It just needs to be hard.
Okay. And there's always a chat of getting your heart rate up. Is that sort of equivalent to this conversation where any movement they need to do needs to get their heart rate up, or is that sort of a separate topic?
I mean, it's obviously important. The heart is a muscle like anything else. As a golden rule, generally, when it comes to challenging muscles in our body, including our heart and our lungs, which not quite muscle, but if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So we need to find those areas. And the other one that's always a good old strapline is, if you don't use it, you lose it. And as we get older, we use it less. We challenge ourselves less.
Okay. Now, I'll ask the both of you quickly before we go. Any advice to maybe an older person who hasn't been focusing sort of on the movement capabilities of their body, why they should really pay attention to this now?
You've got a narrowish window. Make the most of that time. Get yourself out there. Move your body in ways that you enjoy and you can do consistently. If you need help, seek professionals like ourselves. You know, we run mobility and balance classes that deal with strength as well over at the Well, so those sorts of things are always helpful.
Brilliant. Any final words, Thomas?
I'd say like another tagline. So movement's medicine, right?
Okay.
So if you could put this thing of exercise in a pill, it would be the most effective medicine that was ever invented.
It genuinely is. Yeah.
And it's a hugely powerful tool, and we all have access to it. Yeah,
movement is medicine. I like that. All right, well, thank you both for joining me this morning. Stay with us. We have your weather update in just a moment. We're taking a second look at your weather this Wednesday morning. Now, across the Sister Islands, similar conditions are expected in Grand Cayman today. Partially cloudy skies will continue with the chance of passing showers and the possibility of thunderstorms activity at times. Taking a look now at the Doppler radar, we are seeing scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms in and around the Cayman area. The good news is that most of this activity is tracking towards the west, and there is no major weather systems or tropical concerns developing near the islands at this time. For our boaters and fishermen, seas today will be slight to moderate with wave heights of around 2 to 4 feet. Winds remain light, which should keep conditions relatively manageable on the water. Now, low tide this evening is expected at 5:41 p.m. Overnight, high tide arrives at 12:41 a.m., followed by low tide at 7:18 tomorrow morning. Sunrise this morning was at 5:49, and sunset this evening comes at 6:53. If you have any weather-related pictures or videos, please email them to weather@compassmedia.ky. I'll have more weather for you later in the show, including your regional weather forecast.
Cayman Art Week is back and bigger than ever, with art on show at over 50 venues across all 3 islands from Tuesday the 26th to Sunday the 31st of May. From one-off pop-ups and creative collaborations to open studios and late-night gallery hours, all events are free and there's art on sale for every budget. Join a guided bus tour or visit at your own pace. You'll find everything you need to know at CaymanArtWeek.com.
Ashley Outdoor Furniture has everything you need to entertain for every occasion. Whether you choose a sectional or a dining table, your modern outdoor furniture is sure to turn heads every time. From vibrant colors to durable frames against most weather conditions, our wide selection of deck furniture will always have your best style interests at heart. Shop our assortment of outdoor pieces for that extra wow factor for parties and small get-togethers.
Mother's Day lasts one day, but at Studio 54 Savannah, we're celebrating ladies all month long. Treat yourself to a little luxury with 25% off massages, manicures, pedicures, facials, and hair services throughout May. Relax, refresh, and feel your best at Studio 54 Savannah Branch, located at Country Corner, Savannah. Appointments are filling fast, so call 746-4247 today to book your pampering session. Gift certificates are available. Studio 54, because every woman deserves to be celebrated.
It's understandable why an environmental impact assessment is often misunderstood to investigate only how a project will impact the environment. But an EIA brings together scientists and experts from different disciplines. They assess what the likely impacts will be for all of us, both socially and economically, as well as for wildlife and the natural environment. An environmental impact assessment only adds 1% or 2% to the cost of a project, while the benefits of knowing how best to proceed, priceless.
We're continuing our focus on healthy aging. Now, earlier we heard from physiotherapists to help us understand the science behind strength training for older adults. Now we're taking a hands-on approach with practical exercises that can help support mobility, balance, and of course, independence. I'm joined by Laura Ribbons this morning. Good morning, Miss Laura.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful, but I'm so excited to jump into this because we're all aging and movement is something that we need to keep doing.
You've got to keep movement is non-negotiable.
Right. Okay, so what is the first exercise we'll be showing people that they can do at home?
Well, as you mentioned, independence is really important. So the first exercise has to do with a chair.
Okay.
Okay? It could be a toilet, it could be a chair, but it's squats.
Okay.
So just turn right around.
All right.
Perfect. And I just want you to sit down. Right. Good. Now when you go to stand up, the thing that's really important is nose over toes. So nose over toes, press through your heels, squeeze your butt, stand up, squeeze. Good. Now go back, push your rear end out behind you. Perfect. Good. And come back up, press through your heels, squeeze. Now what's really important, Toby, is that you're pressing all the way through.
Okay.
Because you know what? Years ago during COVID, we've lost a lot of that hip extension because we were sitting too much.
Right.
So that last part of that squeeze of your rear end, super important. Try one more squat.
Okay.
So push yourself back, good. And press through your heels, nose over toes, and come up. And notice you didn't have to use your hands.
Right.
So our leg strength is so important for our independence.
Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay, what is the next activity that we have?
Okay, next one has to do with your feet and your ankles. Another area we lost a lot of mobility. So, you know, this is a flexion. We lift your toes up and then put your foot down. Good. Right now, first I just want you to go up on your toes. So think how great this is for your balance. So imagine you have a string out the top of your head. Just go on your toes. Pull your belly button in.
Oh, yes.
Squeeze your rear end and down. Good. Try it again. Ready? Go up on your toes. Good. Squeeze your rear end and slowly back down. Good. One more time. I always do things 3 times. And up on the toes and back down. Now walking, it's heel toe. And it might seem awkward at first, but if someone just spends 30 seconds a morning doing this, great way to wake up their ankles.
Okay.
So good, walk with me. Just heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Good, now go backwards.
Oh.
Okay, this is gonna be toe, heel. Toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel.
I feel like I'm in tap class.
But you know, something as simple as that is so great for our balance and coordination, and overall getting a sense of where we are in space. And this is all contributes to our independence.
Absolutely. Okay, what do we have? I see we have a step up
Yeah,
here.
I brought a step. Might bring back memories for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Everyone has a step someplace in their house. I don't have stairs. I wish I did, but. Everyone has a step. It could be into their house, it could be a sidewalk, but just to go up on a step, think about this. There's a lot of leg work happening here. And sort of an up, up, down, down. And even in a staircase, if they need the railing, it's there for balance. But if they just went up and down the stairs, try it.
And obviously, step-ups are very important because we're always going to have to do a step-up at some point. If you're walking into the pharmacy, getting in and out of a car, you
go
know.
up, now go down with this foot.
Oh.
Right, there you go. There you go. So really, it's not big science as to which foot, but it's the whole concept of using your legs, stepping up, stepping down. Now, for you and I, we just did this successfully.
Okay.
For many people, they have to worry about their balance, and this is scary because falling is one of the #1 fears.
Right.
So this any kind of step they can do.
And that's something that they can work on every day. How many of these should they try to incorporate?
If everyone can do 3 minutes a day of movement, you'll get that brain cocktail going of all the natural, serotonin, dopamine, and our little brain cocktail helps with creativity and productivity.
Okay.
And just being awake and alert. So no matter what the age is, just moving, to go up and come down. This is is using all your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, and just an excellent movement for people to do.
And the movements we've done so far are things that people can do every day to build up on. All right, what do we have next?
Okay, it's called a fireman's carry.
Okay.
And it's actually back in the days where, they pick up 2 bales of hay.
Right.
Okay. But it's just, the minute you add anything tactile to your hands, your performance changes. So I just want you to hold, something that's equal. So I just brought 2 books, the exact same, okay? I'll use weights, and notice when I'm picking things up, I'm always bending toward, my belly button is aiming to the object.
Oh,
A lot of people will get injured by turning, picking up a weight, and coming up this way. Huge contribution to lower back problems.
Okay.
So always belly button aiming to what you're gonna pick up. Good. Now all you're gonna do is shoulders back, have a nice posture, and I'm just going to guide you. Good.
All right.
And you're just going to remember that heel toe?
Yes.
I just want you to walk. So just walk forward. There you go. Shoulders back. Think of yourself being really tall. Now, right now, Toby, you only have books in your hands. Water jugs are awesome. That'd be like the next step up, is a water jug, because it's heavier.
Okay.
And it might seem so simple, but you have to use your abdominals, this whole core area.
Yeah, I feel myself engaging my core already just because I have something in my hands. Now, for people at home who are going to be doing this, as you mentioned, what should they focus on? So you said keeping your shoulders back. Do the items need to be at your side or?
Just holding them.
Just holding them down, okay.
You're just adding weight to your body. Good. Now, the goal is to be able to carry your own weight. Okay, but who has time to figure that out with objects? But even you're going to engage your core straight away. Just so 2 gallons, 1 gallon each hand of water, and just putting imagine if we did have the gallons of water, just to put them down, just to pick them up. These are daily activities to lift up. I mean, even with your books, imagine you're putting something on the top shelf.
Right.
Okay, now imagine you're going to put them on the ground. So do a little squat. There you go. Now press through your heels, come all the way up. That's the squat we just did in the chair.
Okay.
And then all the way up to the ceiling. Good. And just these little basic movements, Toby, it's going to make people feel more alive. And when it becomes part of their daily routine, then they can do one more exercise.
Absolutely. Okay.
So put those down for a second.
All right. We'll quickly do our last exercise, but I believe it's the same sort of standing motion.
I just want you to march. So just get your balance right. Opposite hand and knee.
Oh, okay.
This is sort of a left brain, right brain thing.
Yes, it is.
But here again, just this little movement right here, if you notice, when we first started, we were a little bit wobbly.
Yeah.
And then we get moving, nice tall belly button in. But this alone can be really challenging for people.
Right, okay, and it's the case of just repetitive movements to build up on it. Ms. Laura, thank you so much for being with us today.
Super fun.
This has been so helpful for everyone at home. We hope you get to do these yourself. Now, we'll be right back after this break.
Today you're on top of the world, but tomorrow all of that could change. With a diagnosis of a critical illness, make sure you're prepared with critical illness insurance from Sagicor.
Have you heard about Alex's Place? It's HSA's Adolescent Mental Health Hub, a comforting, safer space for ages 10 to 20. Receive expert-informed care from a multidisciplinary team of mental health professionals. Visit Alex's Place at the front entrance of the Anthony S. Eden Hospital. Walk-ins and referrals welcome.
Some of the most advanced AI tool set.
500,000 web pages to one of the largest websites in the region. And with AI, you'll be able to search every article the same as if it was released today, put up online on CaymanCompass.com.
Anyone, anywhere across the world can actually access all of our archives and all of our issues of newspapers going back to 1965.
It's huge. It really is huge.
Your news, your Cayman, Compass TV.
A new scholarship has launched to support Caymanian students. Joining us this morning is the man himself, Mr. Michael Austin. Good morning, Mr. Austin.
Good morning, Reagan.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. For those who might not know, you have an incredible career that started at KPMG. Do you mind briefly running us through that career?
Right, well, a long career. I came out, first joined KPMG when it was Pete Marwick Mitchell in Jamaica. And my wife and I arrived in Jamaica in 1966. And we were engaged by Pete Marwick Mitchell. After a couple of years there, Pete Marwick said to me, Mike, we want you to go and start the Cayman Island office. So off we came to Cayman. That was in 1968. And my wife said she was okay coming to Cayman, but it was only going to be for 1 year. So that after that we decided maybe we should stay a bit longer, and sure enough, here we are 68 years later. So
wow.
And as for your question on the Pete Marwick side, yeah, I joined Pete Marwick there. I was with Pete Marwick in Cayman for 23 years as managing partner. I am known to have started the office there, so I'm very proud of that.
You also started a scholarship. What sparked your idea to create this incredible scholarship?
Well, it's because I'm not getting any younger, but I really wanted to do something to give back to the Cayman Islands. You know, I mean, we've had a wonderful life here, still enjoying that. But I wanted to have a token of something to give back in conjunction with KPMG, who assisted me with this. But so we personally funded a scholarship called the Michael Austin Scholarship, and that's going to last hopefully for a number, not just 1 year, for a number of years.
What is the details surrounding this scholarship? The amount of money, years, how many people can apply?
Well, I guess KPMG are very ably handling this, so they're doing the advertising for people for scholarship candidates, students, and they do all the interviewing and select somebody. And we haven't yet. They have selected the first person, I know, but I can't announce that yet. But that'll happen once a year, and that person will deserve a scholarship of 50,000 plus travelling for the whole of his career, his or her career, which is maybe up to 5 years. And then we'll pass on to next student. So. It's generally my idea that we want to encourage accounting, and I've always been involved in the accountancy profession, and that's what I want to do. You know.
Mr. Austin, besides the monetary value and the traveling, what values do you think that your scholarship represents when it comes to entering a career in finance, and how do you think that these values will continue to live on into these young people who are awarded this scholarship?
Well, hopefully, maybe not the right thing to say, but hopefully the scholarship will be granted to a Caymanian who maybe otherwise would find it very difficult to find the money to do that, you know. So it's a boost in the financial side, which is these days absolutely essential. Not everybody is very well off, and particularly in Cayman, there are very, very deserving students who really deserve to be given a chance.
And where can people apply?
Well, they apply to KPMG, yes. I think I'm not quite sure, but KPMG have seminars where they ask a number of students along and present what's available.
Mr. Austin, we are just about out of time, but I would love to ask you, you're such a wealth of knowledge, you have decades of experience in the financial world. What words of wisdom would you like to leave the people listening today, someone looking to enter the financial career or enter the scholarship? What would you like to tell them?
Well, I would like to tell them that Cayman is going to present them with ample opportunities in the profession, in accounting, and just go with it, because make the decision that that's going to be your career, and you can't go far wrong.
Well, Mr. Austin, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for the work that you are doing to support young people in this country. But stick around, because we'll be right back after the break.
Flat tire? Dead battery? Don't let car trouble slow you down. Tony's Toys has the best selection of premium batteries and top brand tires. Ready for quick installation. Get expert tire fitting, balancing, wheel alignment, and battery replacements hassle-free. Drive with confidence. Visit Tony's Toys today. 91 Sherwood Drive. Call 946-8697 or email parts@tonystoys.net. Shop now at tonystoys.net.
And that is the true position at Tony's Toys.
Today you've got all the moves, but tomorrow a critical illness could stop you in your tracks. Make sure you're prepared with critical illness insurance from Sagicor.
For over 20 years, Cayman families have trusted Lasco. From food, drink, hot or cold, to canned meats and beans for quick, tasty meals. From baby formulas that help little ones grow, to iCool water and beverages that keep everyone refreshed. Plus soaps, feminine care, and household essentials that make life easy. Quality you can count on, value that makes sense, and the widest range of items for your kitchen and home. Available island-wide. Lasco. For every day, for every Cayman family.
Have you heard about Alex's Place? It's HSA's Adolescent Mental Health Hub, a comforting, safer space for ages 10 to 20. Receive expert-informed care from a multidisciplinary team of mental health professionals. Visit Alex's Place at the front entrance of the Anthony S. Eden Hospital. Walk-ins and referrals welcome.
With your news headlines, I'm Mina Worms. Cayman Brac officials started hurricane preparations late last week. Led by the Department of District Administration, the team removed and replaced old shutters on government buildings and hurricane shelters. They also added new shutters and moved forward with what they're calling other necessary activities as part of the exercise. District Commissioner for the Sister Islands, Mark Tibbetts, praised the team for their efforts in ensuring Cayman is prepared for this year's hurricane season.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank each of our participants that participated today with our exercise. A job well done, and to offer our sincere appreciation to everyone for their hard work, their dedication and commitment. And this exercise, that we can all be better prepared as we once again move into another hurricane season here within the Cayman Islands.
The Atlantic hurricane season typically runs from the 1st of June through the end of November. And Cayman's newest hotel, 1GT, officially opened Friday with a ribbon cutting attended by dignitaries. The project was completed in partnership with US-based Remington Hospitality Group, marking its first hotel in the Cayman Islands. Senior Vice President for Hotels and Transitions, Melissa Golub, says the development expands the company's footprint in the region.
Well, our development team is the one that secured the deal. They traveled down a couple of times and saw a great opportunity to revitalize the Georgetown area. So my job took me here, and I got to work with an amazing team to help build this beautiful hotel and bring it to life.
Georgetown Revitalization Coordinator Colin Lumsden says the project reflects a shift towards mixed-use developments in the capital. Lumsden believes increasing residential space in the heart of Georgetown can transform the area while supporting local businesses.
If you're talking about Georgetown being revitalized, you're talking about Georgetown being a 24-hour city. And you can't be a 24-hour city if people are not living in it. And I think this is a great example of what a living entity could be, where people can enjoy, where people can, very close to their job destination. And also living here would also mean that you don't have to own a car necessarily.
1GT took 7 years to complete and cost just under $200 million to build. And that's all for your news for this morning. Remember to tune into Compass News at 5 p.m. That's every weekday evening right here on Compass TV. And now we're going to toss it over to Toby for a final look at your weather.
Here's a final look at your weather now. Across the wider Caribbean, that same moisture pattern is impacting parts of the northwest region, bringing scattered showers to areas around Jamaica and western Cuba. Elsewhere, conditions remain generally stable with no tropical development expected. Now, looking ahead over the next 3 days, expect some warm conditions to continue. Thursday brings partially cloudy skies with a few passing showers possible. Friday stays hot with a mix of sun and clouds, and into the weekend, conditions look fairly similar with isolated shower activity expected. Lighter winds are expected through the second half of the week as the ridge of high pressure continues to weaken. Now, I know a lot of people are heading out for one carnival this weekend, so you might have a slight chance of rain there, but I know there's nothing that can stop you revelers from getting out on the road. So what's that saying? Drink water and mind your business. There will be a little bit of water coming from the sky, so prepare for that. Heading into Sunday, a bit of sun, a bit of thunder expected. And unfortunately, we do have some rain coming Monday and Tuesday, which is just a hint to not get your car washed. Now, if you have any weather-related pictures or videos, please email them to weather@compassmedia.ky. That's all for your weather this morning. I'm joined back on the couch with Vanessa and Mina.
Hello. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that people will still head out on the road because nothing really stops them, but a little bit of a nice drizzle might be something to cool them off.
I was thinking that too. Like, you know, luckily with Cayman, you just get a little bit of showers and then it kind of goes away. So fingers crossed for everyone with that.
Other climates where the rain can be cold and a bit miserable, like it's a little bit refreshing.
Yeah, look at the bright side. Speaking of miserable rain, I think I mentioned to you guys that I did live in the UK at one point, and they have a carnival there, Notting Hill Carnival.
Yes.
The 1 year that I did Notting Hill Carnival, it poured cold, icy rain. And because I already paid for it and I had to just go, I stuck it out.
Oh my
Do you have a
goodness,
big
I
like
can't
plastic poncho?
I did. Oh, I did have one at one period, but it broke because I also had big feathers.
Those. That's hilarious. I just had the funniest image in my mind. No, but that was.
I'd like to see a picture of this.
Kind of like a wet bird.
We need proof.
A wet bird with feathers and glitter. Yeah,
but those ponchos are so handy, especially when it's raining.
I regret all those times when I was younger and I poo-pooed the poncho because it didn't look cool enough. If you've ever been to Disney on a day that there's some showers, poncho is the way to go.
They are very popular at Disney as well. Things like Niagara Falls, when you have to be able to. Yeah, now we're thinking about a stylistic thing about ponchos.
So I'm like my whole family. We're kind of Disney nerds. Like we love to go to Disney, and my mom has these ponchos that we've had for several years, and we use them for our Disney trips. And she repacks them every time.
See, this is a culture.
See?
Like if you are a Disney family and you go to Disney, let us know how many of these ponchos you have at home. It's like grocery bags.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'm gonna segue into the fact that Disney is also a great way to get some movement and mobility.
That's true.
Yeah. So
definitely,
being a Disney family may actually help you in the long run because you get your movement and you
get a lot of
walking.
steps in.
Yeah,
a lot of steps in. The walking backwards with Laura that you like.
The heel toe backwards.
Heel toe backwards.
Yeah, she was right. It was a bit of a mind situation.
But it's good for your brain, right?
Exactly. Or when you have to like crisscross with the standing.
Yes.
Like you can get in a flow, but it does take a little bit of a mind connection.
Yes, and she was speaking about it's not just about being able to move weights, but it's about being able to move. You have to lift heavy things. You have to be able to continue your life even though things get hard. So those little things are very helpful.
We're going to set our watches for a movement break at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh,
we do that together?
We didn't say that, but sure.
To be fair, our desks do go up. There's no reason for us to not.
Oh, they do? I totally knew that. But thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak this morning. Remember, you can stream us live and watch anything you've missed on CompassTV.ky. And be sure to tune in this evening for the Link Up podcast at 7 p.m. We'll be back again at 7 a.m. tomorrow with more Daybreak. And here's a look at what's in store. Thursday on Daybreak, the National Trust is celebrating 40 years of conservation and historic efforts. We learn more about the progress made and what's to come. We're recognizing EMS Week and taking a closer look at the people behind the sirens here in the Cayman Islands. And one man, 250 miles, one powerful cause. Derek Haynes joins us alongside Meals on Wheels to talk about helping Cayman seniors and the push to complete their fundraising goal.